I was pretty lucky with where I did my psychiatric training. He taught what he called the ecological model of psychiatry, which was everything. How do we relate to those around us? What's happening with our spouse? What's happening with our kids? What's happening at work? What's happening at home? What are we eating? How are we exercising? Where do we go and travel? Everything that brings us to this moment now and why. It really just opened me up to seeing there's so much more to this than ticking boxes. There's so much more to this than symptoms and diagnoses. There's such a depth of humanity here. And as soon as I started off on that track, I didn't stop. And it's so liberating. I can now see sometimes how difficult it is for people when they get a diagnosis. That in itself can be challenging. It can be wonderful to provide the right treatment, but it can also create a lot of stigma, it can create a lot of shame, and there are other ways to do it. There are ways to understand health and illness that are much more determined by what do we do with our emotions? How do we feel about this thing that happened, or that relationship that fell apart, or this loss, or this illness that we're going through? And when we can deal with our feelings, not by some distant spiritual bypass kind of way, but instead by actively feeling it and getting into those feelings and working through them emotionally and seeing why they're there in the first place, why they're weighted down the way they are. And as we learn those things, we free ourselves up. And once we free ourselves up, then we can really do things, and we can pursue our goals, we can create our dreams, and we can connect with one another so much more deeply and openly and honestly. And that's a beautiful thing.